Hi, I'm Ross Benjamin reporting for the Offshore Gaming Association. That's OSGA.com, your number one source for information on the offshore sportsbook industry. That's OSGA.com. I'm going to be looking over the futures odds in the AFC South Division. And personally, myself, this looks like the most balanced division in football and should be ultra competitive. Anybody can win the division. I think let's backtrack here. The odds may say anybody can win the division, but I don't see Indianapolis being a factor just because Andrew Luck is back. I think this is going to be a three-team horse race between Houston, Jacksonville, and Tennessee, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. But obviously, the bookmakers agree with me here. You look at the preseason odds to win the division: Houston plus 175, Jacksonville plus 200, Tennessee plus 300, and Indianapolis, which I think is totally overrated, at plus 400. I don't get the sleeper pick here just because Andrew Luck's coming back. We'll get to that later. But let's start with Houston. Now, this is a team that went 4-12 a season ago. They're in a division with two other teams who were part of the postseason parade last year, yet they're the preseason favorite to win the division. I mean, stop and think about that for a second. Well, let's backtrack. Deshaun Watson, the star rookie quarterback, he goes down in Game 7 of the season, made 6 starts, 1 relief appearance, threw for nearly 1,700 yards, not nearly, but 19 touchdown passes against 8 interceptions, ran for another 269 and 2 scores. He's textbook modern day NFL quarterback that can beat you with both his arm and his legs. And if he stays healthy, this Houston offense could be awfully dangerous and fun to watch. On the defensive side of the ball, J.J. Watt, after missing the majority of last season, will be back. He's healthy. This is a very formidable front seven for Houston on defense, led by Watt, and then the other defensive end, Whitney Merciless, and as well as an up-and-coming star in linebacker Javadian Clowney. This is a really, really good front seven, and they can make up for what I see as their weak part is their secondary. They can make up for a lot of deficiencies in that area by putting some pressure on the quarterback and keeping teams in 3rd and long. So you're also looking at their home schedule, very favorable, folks. They have 5 non-division opponents at home beside their 3 divisional rivals. And those 5 non-division teams they face at home, they went a combined 27-53 a season ago. The only team to make the playoffs out of those 5 were the Buffalo Bills, and they needed a miracle touchdown pass by Andy Dalton in the last minute to beat Baltimore to back their way into the playoffs. And by all accounts, the Buffalo Bills look like they're going to take a step backwards this season. So I would not be shocked if Houston is a favorite in all 8 of their home games this year. Next, we get to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are plus 200 to win the division. This is the defending AFC South Division champ. Their roster has stayed virtually intact. I don't think I'm going out on a limb at all when I say this will be one of the best, if not the best, defenses in football this year. And if you look at what they did on the defensive side of the ball last year, Jacksonville allowed 10 points or less in 9 of their 18 games. I don't see much changing. This is a dominant defense. If anything, I can only see them being more cohesive and better. And this was a young defense a season ago. One more year of experience. And can you say scary? Well, I can. As long as they stay healthy, this is going to be a tough team to move the ball against. Now, the elephant in the room here is quarterback Blake Bortles. Now, granted, he played fairly well in the playoffs last year, albeit he wasn't stellar against Buffalo, but he did shine in the games against Pittsburgh and New England. As a result, he gets a 5-year contract extension, which I think was a bad move by the Jaguars. I would have liked to see him go another year and see what he produces. He's been very inconsistent throughout his career. Here's the thing. If Bortles can play within himself and not become a turnover machine like he was early in his career, that's all they need. They have a star running back in Leonard Fournette, who ran for over 1,000 yards last year. This is a very tough team. I really like them. As a matter of fact, if you read my article in terms of who I like to go to the Super Bowl, I picked the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Minnesota Vikings. That shows you how high I am on the Jaguars. My opinion hasn't changed since. Their schedule is a little more difficult than Houston and Tennessee. As a matter of fact, they only have 7 true road games, and their eighth home game. Their eighth home game was replaced by a trip to London to take on the defending world champion Philadelphia Eagles. So the schedule makers weren't very kind to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They do, however, face New England and Pittsburgh at home. Very tough schedule, but anytime you can play defense the way Jacksonville can, they'll be in every game this year, and I look for them to take a huge step forward from what we even saw a season ago. Now let's get to the Tennessee Titans. This is an intriguing team. If you look at the fact that Mike Mularkey, in his 2 years as head coach of Tennessee in 2016 and 17, went a combined 19 and 15, including a playoff appearance a season ago and also a playoff win at Kansas City last January. Yet he couldn't come to an agreement with the front office. He was let go. Basically, they parted ways as part of a mutual agreement, and in walks former New England Patriot linebacker Mike Vrabel. Now, Vrabel is, by all accounts, implementing a spread offense in Tennessee, and this should be well suited for quarterback Marcus Mariota, who ran a similar type of spread offense in his college days at Oregon, and we all know how he did there. He was the 2014 Heisman Trophy winner. This is also a Tennessee team that has a very soft road schedule, which will help them stay in this race throughout, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if they'll win the division, but I certainly think that this is a legitimate playoff contender, and at the end of the year, I could see them as in part of the AFC playoffs, probably in my mind as a wild card team. This takes me to the Indianapolis Colts. Now they're just plus 400. It's last in the division, but I think they're getting too much credit even at plus 400. I don't see it. I know Andrew Luck is back, okay, but this guy is coming off major shoulder surgery. He's had a hard time staying healthy the last couple years when he was playing, and he's one hit away from another disastrous season for Indianapolis. And I'm not so sure, even with his presence, that this is even close to a playoff team, let alone being a factor in a division. So I steer clear of the Indianapolis Colts. And as far as I'm concerned, I had alluded to before, I like the Jacksonville Jaguars to get to the Super Bowl and be the AFC representative there to face the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to stick to my guns. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars at plus 200. And you very well can see 3 teams in the playoffs that will come from the AFC South this season. That's how much I like this division. Again, my name is Ross Benjamin. You can find my personal website at rbwins.com. I'm on a terrific roll in Major League Baseball, 72 and 52 over my last 124. Folks, that's 58%, but at an average money line price of plus 109. So I not only win, I win with value. I also finished last football season on an 18 and 2 run. That's combined college football and the NFL. Terrific NFL playoffs, terrific end of the bowl season, and I'm going to ride that momentum into September. So be sure to go to my website, rbwins.com, where you can buy a football package. You could also buy my annual subscription, a monthly subscription, or a weekly subscription. Either way, I never ask you for more money unless I'm making you more money. So, bottom line, come and visit me, rbwins.com, where you spent a little to make a lot. Thank you, folks, and have a good evening.